on in. Tell me where you're signing in from. This is my viral wisdom number 67. 67 sessions. I'm so happy to be here with you and still be connected. Come on in. Tell me where you're signing in from. I'm going to give a minute for people to join in, and then I shall embark on my teaching for the week and what's coming up that I feel needs to be addressed, and I'll try and do a good job at explaining how we can address these issues. Hi from Houston, Giti from Dubai, Portugal. Hi guys, so it's me with my viral wisdom number 67, session number 67. Hi guys. So I don't know whether you all have picked up my new book, co-authored with my dear friend. It's for every kid to have, teenagers, for parents, on how to talk to your teens about anxiety. We didn't know we would be in a pandemic when we wrote this book. It's full of graphics, full of workbook style, illustrations. So grab your copy of Superpowered. We wrote this book way before the pandemic, and back then anxiety was on the rise exponentially. And publishers came to us and said, hey, will you write a book? We didn't even have to go to them, because they saw that anxiety was such a big deal in kids. And then the pandemic hit, and the book is out in the heat of the pandemic. And we know kids are having a hard time. Parents are having a hard time in helping their kids. So grab your copy on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. If you're in America, grab it at an indie bookstore so you can support indie bookstores. If you're abroad, get it at your local Amazon. Superpowered. Hope you get it. It's doing so well. Yes, there is a Kindle version, and it's already on the New York Times bestseller list. And soon my co-author Rini and I will be doing some book clubs, but you have to have the book or you won't be able to follow along. So the link is being posted. It's getsuperpowered.com, and there are lots of options on that link. So buy the book. Okay, so related to anxiety, because anxiety seems to be the mood of the times, I want to talk about how do we process really difficult emotions. How do we process it without wallowing in it, without moping, but also not suppressing, killing, distracting, overeating, overdrinking. You know, there's a fine line between knowing how to be with the feeling and use the feeling to teach you and propel you onto a path of courage, versus BSing yourself and washing the feeling away, because the feeling brings up such discomfort. By now in this pandemic, I'm pretty sure that everyone has been affected indirectly or directly. Or we know someone who's passed away, or we know someone who knows someone who's passed away. It's coming closer. It's coming home. Financially, in terms of our ability to connect to our parents who may live in a different country. In some ways, it's hitting home that there is now some grieving, some loss. Death is the ultimate loss. How do we keep going and keep living a life of purpose and inspiration and passion, even though these are really difficult feelings that come up and they just sit on your chest? You know what I'm talking about. We've all experienced it. Well, one of the things that I use to help me is what they use in Vipassana meditation. And at the end of every Vipassana meditation, they say, the teacher says, anicca, anicca, anicca. And anicca is the Pali, Sanskrit word for impermanence, impermanence, impermanence. And every day in Vipassana, this is the chant, anicca, 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 anicca. So anicca means impermanence. And it is the core of wisdom teachings from the East. the core of wisdom teachings is to understand the nature of life. And the core of the nature of life, at its essence, the one fundamental common principle of the nature of life, is that it is impermanent. What that means is that whatever you are seeing as solid, as perpetual, as ever present, that which you see is not permanent. It is impermanent because form is always in transformation. So whatever you're seeing is an illusion. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. What does this mean? When you look at me right now, you think you're seeing me. You're certain you're seeing me. But what is this me you see? The me you see is only on the surface. But you don't see anything beneath the surface. But beneath the surface, just like beneath the ocean is where there is tremendous life and death, you don't see beneath what your eyes show you and what your senses hear and can feel. And what you don't see is tremendous cellular growth and cellular death. And death and rebirth and rejuvenation and growth and death and transformation. You're not seeing that. You're not seeing my skin grow and die, grow and die, grow and die, grow and die. You're not seeing what's happening inside. Trillions of cells are dying and living. Trillions. When you look at a mountain, the majesty of a mountain, you think, it's so amazing. It's so powerful. Yes, it is. But in its eternity and in its eternal power is tremendous destruction that we don't see. Constant soil erosion, constant wilting of the silt, constant erosion and transformation, and worms and bacteria and foliage and fossils and animal footprints and animals coming and killing and all this is happening, but you don't see it because all you see is the palpable, observable, solid mountain. All this to say is that nothing is what you see. Nothing is what you think it seems. Everything is constantly dying. You don't see that because you're seeing life. But you're not seeing that life cannot exist without death. It cannot. It's like me at my birth of my daughter saying, nope, I don't want my stomach to elasticize. Nope. I don't want my breast to lactate. Nope. I don't want my old self to die. Nope, nope, nope. You stay right here and don't grow. How can it be? For the birth of a child, everything had to die, including my psychological identity, right? Biologically, we died. If you adopt a child, it's the same thing. Psychologically, you have to metamorphosize. You can't be like, I'm going to be the same, but I'm going to be new. I'm going to be the same, but I'm going to be new. No, something has to die. So death is happening all the time. Death is happening all the time. And if we're not in touch with it all the time, then when it happens in its big ba-bam, we are devastated. But the wisdom is in knowing that it was happening all the time. We were just not ready for the final dissolution. Death has been happening since we were born. Since we were born, we've been dying. Since we were born, clock is ticking. Clock is ticking. And you feel it in your 50s. You're like, ooh, clock is really ticking. But for a long time, you're in the illusion that you're like so vibrant and vital. You're not in touch with death. That's why when a young person dies, you're like, holy cow, this is not how it's supposed to be. This is not life. Life is supposed to be lived long. Who said? We said. Man said. Human said. Right? The gazelle doesn't cry. Every day her babies die. Right? The gazelle is going to die. It doesn't say I need to become 80. So death is constant. But we're not in touch with it. And because we're not in touch with it, we screw ourselves. Because when it comes a knocking, we're devastated. We're not prepared. Oh my God, just today, my daughter she's in the other room, and she was holding her dog, Charlie. And most times, she will hold her dog, Charlie, and marvel at his utter beauty. And within moments, she'll start crying. And my daughter's not sensitive. However, she starts crying. So I go, what, Maya? Oh, what do I do when my dog dies? And she's already made a plan when the dog dies, if it's by natural causes, to get a replacement. I said, you probably do that with your husband too. And she was like, mm-hmm. So get a replacement, get the other puppy ready. And because she's like, I can't deal with it. Right? And so she's crying. The dog is 1.5 years old for when it'll die later. So I said to her, I get it. You're preparing. And you're very smart. You're so in love with him that you're preparing for his death. And then I also said, but be in the present, you're here now. But I felt like that was too trite to say, just love the moment, be in the present. I was like, no, she's right. She needs to be in touch with the death. Yeah, and I said, sorry, my light just, see, my light just died at the back. My light is like, I'm going to have effects of death. This bloody light. You see, I have a fancy glass table. And this vacuum of this light doesn't stay on this fancy glass table. So I have a choice. Either have light or let go of my fancy glass table. I'm not going to. So I'm just going to suffer. So I told her to be in touch with the death. To be in touch with his death. And you're practicing. And I told her that since the age of 4, I used to imagine my father's death. My father's still alive, so 44 years later. And I used to prepare for his death because I was like, how am I going to survive without this man? And from the age of 4, I used to simulate the funeral. And somebody will say, that's insane. I say, yeah, not in a way that wallows and takes you into depression, but in an understanding that as I am enjoying this moment of life, I am well aware that there's death. And to be in touch with that, I think that's wise. And cultures that are not in touch with death, then avoid death. And it shows up in addiction. It shows up in overconsumption, consumerism, because we're not in touch with the true essence of life. Sorry. And the true essence of life is death. So this juxtaposition of life with death is a mind shift. And it's phenomenal. Because when you're in touch with this, you don't F around with life. You wake up. You understand what's important, what's essential, what's real. And you live in the legacy of that awareness. Then every moment is purposeful. Every moment is like, okay, I'm not wasting. I'm here. Even if the other person is dead, and that's dead, and that's dead, and they're dead. Okay, but I'm here. So how am I going to use this moment in a way that's alive? But the way we spend our life is in worry. We're not spending our life alive. We're spending our life in worry. And not worry that takes us to a new consciousness, worry that stagnates us. So in order to truly pay homage to the legacy that is life, is to understand the anicca, the impermanence. And when you keep that in your awareness, life is impermanent all the time, then every time anxiety fossilizes you and coagulates you into a stagnation, you're able to go, shut up, stop it. I love you, anxiety, but I'm alive now. And you come back to that basic premise that you're alive now. And the beauty of the world is that nobody has it all. Nobody has it all. You may look at Jane has the money. You may look at Susan has the nice hair. You may look at Samantha has the nice husband. You may look at Jack has the nice car. You may look at Jake has the nice job. Ask me if one person has it all. The one who has it all is the one who doesn't want it all. The one who has it all is the one who is free of it all. That's the one who has it all. That's the one you want to be like. You're like, damn, that one is infectious. That one is constantly full of energy. How the hell does that one have that? Is it the hair? Is it the husband? Is it the cat? And then you'll realize it's nothing on the outside. That person has this infection for zeal and truth and alignment and courage because they have realized that they're not going to sit on the pot anymore and not shit in it, okay? They're going to get off the pot. or do something. They have decided that life is too precious. And death is part of life, but death can't stop life. Death is a transformation, it's a constant, it's an eternal, and they keep it moving. That's the person you want to be like. You don't want to covet wealth and hair and relationship and possessions. No! Covet the other person's state of mind. How does this person have this state of mind? Damn it, I want that state of mind. And that state of mind is the only possibility when you have relinquished all possessions. When you have relinquished your attachment to life in a paradoxical way. No? It's paradoxical. Wisdom is freaking counterintuitive. It's like the opposite of life. Because it's looking at life where there's death. It's understanding that there's happiness in the sorrow. It's understanding that life is non-dual. It's not one or the other. So the wisdom now is to release. That's what COVID is telling you. That it's a shit show. In case you didn't notice, humans are crazy. Stop relying on your leaders. It's all a farce. Everyone is lying. So, okay, now it's like so amazing for someone like me because I'm like, see, I told you it was an illusion. Now it's so clear. Everyone is talking. Okay, but there's nothing to be disheartened about. This is not some revelation to get depressed about. No, this is the revelation of truth. This is the revelation of truth. That everybody is working from ego. Everybody's working from greed. But you can do life differently. You can't change the system necessarily. But you and I and she and he, we become part of the system. There is no system out there. I know it feels like the system is out there. Coming. Proud. If you know what I mean. Coming. But it's not. The system is ultimately you and me. And how we awaken in our consciousness. And yes, we feel outnumbered. We feel really, really tiny in the grand scheme of things. We feel like racism has existed forever. What are we going to do about it? You know, sexism has existed forever. What are we going to do about it? Institutional injustice is rampant. What are we going to do about it? So then we develop this sort of apathy. But see, there's a big difference between accepting what is, meaning it is messed up, to the needle swinging to apathy. We don't swing to apathy. We go, it is a shit show, but I'm going to speak up because I need to. That's authentic. We don't not speak up because what's the point? No, we don't speak up for the outcome. We speak up because in the moment it's authentic to speak up. So if there's injustice, we don't think, what's the point of speaking up because it's not going to change because racism has existed all our lives. So what's the point of speaking up? No. We speak up because it's authentic. You know, so this whole, this adage of, you know, when you go to a dinner party, let's not talk about sex and politics and God, right? These are the three things you can't talk about it. Can't talk about sex, politics, or God, okay? I'm like, okay, we don't have to talk about sex because it's private. I get it. We don't even have to talk about God. No big deal. But to not talk about politics, to not talk about the effects of politics, to not talk about racism, to not talk about hot issues, is to be dead, is to not be alive, right? So we live in a society all over the world, this is not America, this is everywhere, where we keep bullshitting and skirting the truth because we're afraid of politics and being politically correct. You know, and in being politically correct, we're actually the most unjust. You know, we don't have to be assholes about it, but we do need to speak up. We do need to say what's right and what's wrong. There is injustice and there's justice. And right and wrong doesn't mean that somebody should be castigated for being wrong. It just means it is wrong. It just means it's not just. And the rule of thumb for what is just or not is, does it violate the rights of others? If it violates the rights of others, wrong. That's it. If it doesn't protect all people and children and animals, wrong. So there is this fear that we live in. And again, it's connected to impermanence. We live in fear, and so we cling to the I. We cling to our image, to our ideas, to our sensibilities. Because we are so protective of our ego. Because we believe we are something solid, like the mountain. We don't realize we are poop and fart and bile and sweat and microbiomes and a whole lot of mess inside, and that we're living and dying. Now, if we thought of ourselves like that, like virus and bacteria, and just nothing more than that, we'd be like, what's the ego for? Why do I have such a big ego? We have such a big ego because we have an idea of ourselves as being all that, as being permanent, as if we matter. Now, we don't matter in the long run, but we matter right now. And when you understand that you are impermanent, and in that level you are irrelevant, you let go of your ego and you begin to show up in truth and authenticity. And because you don't have ego, that you are all that, you don't begin to think others are not all that. When you realize that our institutions of religion, of wealth, of status, of achievement, of beauty, all of them are just means of separation. When you realize the illusion of separation, and you realize that the reason we are living under the illusion of separation is because we believe I am something, therefore you are something else. But when you realize that we are all just living and dying cells, and sweat and bile and poop, covered with this persona, then we all realize we're all the same. And when we realize we're all the same, and that any minute we are going to die, then we stop hurting each other with the bullshit of what we have been. We've only been hurting each other because of ideological attachments that I am this and you are that. That's it. I'm Democrat, you're Republican. I'm for Trump, you're pro-Trump. You're against Trump. I'm white, you're not white. That's what we've been fighting for. Ideas. Born out of separation because we believe in permanence. In permanence. We don't understand impermanence. If you understood anicca, impermanence, you would see all this is an illusion. And when you see that all this is an illusion, you go, oh, I may look Indian, but I'm really just poop and bile and sweat and tears and cells. And then you break it down and you realize, what are we doing? What have we done to ourselves? Oh, you have a house on an island, and you have a house by the water, and you have a... This doesn't matter. The more houses, the more headache. The more houses, the more attachment. The one who has arrived at true liberation is the one who has the fewest attachments. The Buddha said, that guy there, said that true liberation is the extinction of beliefs. Because he understood that beliefs are what mess us up. I believe that I'm better than you. I believe that you are not as pretty and therefore you're not as worthy. I believe. All beliefs. You can believe in anything. Believe in the purple porcupine that lives up in the sky and is going to come and smack you if you say the wrong word. Like, believe in anything. Believe the sun is purple. Believe in purple moon. Purple is my color. To talk about the lunacy of our beliefs. Believe in anything. And that's what our world is. Everybody's believing in everything. But really, those beliefs come from our own limited mind and they cause separation. And they have nothing to do with the true nature of who it is we are. The true nature of who it is we are is really that we're just animal. We're just bile and poop and sweat and tears and cells. We're just soil and dust and earth and air and wind and rain. We're just the elements of nature. Humans are no better than any other being in nature. We think we're better because we talk all this fancy language. Who cares? We're miserable. We're killing each other. We're destroying. 80% of the world lives on under $10 a day. 50% of the world lives on under $2 a day. People are dying. People have disease. No one gives a crap. Everyone's hating each other in the wealthiest nation in the world. What does it matter? This is the time where we wake up and we realize the lunacy, the idiocy of the human condition. If this doesn't wake us up to realize that we are truly dysfunctional and we need to have a new way of looking at life, we will collapse. This is going to collapse. This is at the end of the game. And no problem, because we are meant to collapse anyway. But we are doing it super speed, as only humans can. Let's not collapse naturally with the earth and naturally dissolve like other animals with the food chain, like naturally interdependent and moving in and out of extinction and existence. Let's not do it like that. Let's take a supersonic rocket to extinction. That's what we're doing. We're doing it super fast, super well, because we're so good at it. We're like, we are not going to die like any other animal species. We're going to do it our way, fast. That's what we're doing. We're on a super speed train to annihilation. And it's okay. You can die this way or that way. The question is, while we are on that train to death, can we maybe make a choice that we don't have to die this way? Like, we're going to die anyway, but can we die a different way? Can we do it consciously? Can we begin living differently? When are we going to wake up? For me, and only me, but because I'm talking, I get to say, the only way out is what the Buddha taught. Now you say, oh, I'm not Buddhist, I'm Catholic. I'm not Buddhist, I'm that. Guess what? I'm not Buddhist either. 100% not anything ist. I don't follow any ism. The reason I have the Buddha on my wall is not, I don't even know what his temples look like. I've never even been, just except to visit. The reason I have him on my wall is because if there's one thing he taught that I take, is he taught to look inward. You see, when I see his eyes close, I go, ooh, my eyes have been open all day. Greedy, grabbing, craving, comparing, judging. So when I see him on my wall, and I have thousands of them in my house, it's just to remind me, where are you looking? The solution is not outside. Stop blaming other people. Don't judge. Don't begrudge life. Look inward. Look inside yourself. The Buddha is you, the Buddha is me. That's the beauty of the Buddha. The Buddha is just a state of being. So I know he has a shape of a face of a male, but what to do? You have to give it some form. But to me, the Buddha is a state of being. Nothing to do with the person. I don't even know what the person really said. If it was a real person, it doesn't matter to me. It's a state of being which is primarily focused inward. So for me, the only answer is to look inward. Ultimately, that's where the golden key to liberation lies. So all of this that's happening on the outside is here to wake us up to look inward. So the question to ask is not why is Donald Trump da-da-da-da-da, why is Biden da-da-da-da, or whoever, your husband, your wife, your children. The question to ask is, what have I done today to look inward? When is the last time I have looked within? When is the last time I've taken my cute little self and put myself on a cushion or on the floor, closed my eyes and sat with my own breath? When is the last time I put on a meditation app and meditated? When is the last time I called a coach and asked them to help me deconstruct myself and my issues? When is the last time I looked at my own self as the co-creator of my reality and said, you know what, before anybody else on the outside cleans their crap up, I need to clean my crap up? When is the last time I've looked at myself? And for me, that is the only answer. And I know I'm a zealot and I'm so fundamental when I say that that's the only way. So be it. There is no God on the outside. There is no Buddha on the outside. There is no Guru on the outside. It's all inside. And when you go inward and you begin to focus on your own inner stillness, you realize the meaning of anicca, anicca. It means impermanence, impermanence, impermanence. Because you focus on your breath and you're like, damn, every breath is like not constant. It's not same. It's not even the one from the other is different. And you begin observing, damn, the breath is only for a second, and the next second, and the next second, and the next second. And each one is different. You begin to observe your breath. And when you observe your breath, you're like, if you're smart, you begin to make the extrapolation. Oh, if every breath is different, and the breath doesn't last, and the breath is meant to go in inhale, exhale, and it's constantly changing, then you extrapolate, you deduce, you infer that, wow, that which sustains me is impermanent. That means I am impermanent. If that which you depend on is impermanent, it just goes without reason that you are impermanent. Then you get other insights when you meditate. You're like, I breathe in and then I breathe out. Where was I breathing in from? I was breathing in air that you breathe out from and breathe in from. Oh my goodness, we share the same air. So if we share the same air, and basically we cannot live without air, and we're all sharing the same damn air, then at the end of the day, we can't really be that different, can we? We're kind of all the same. What are we fooling ourselves for? That one is Chinese, one is Japanese, one is 6 feet, one is 2 feet. What are we doing here? It's all one. One, one, one. And then you get many other profound lessons when you meditate, and you realize that all these separations are all in our bullshit mind. Sorry for talking like this. How to say how dumb we are. How to express how inane it is to have a belief. It's one thing to have the belief, but the next thing to believe that the belief is correct. How dumb. It's a belief. The fact that it's a belief, it's not real. And the fact that it's not real, it's arbitrary. Believe anything. Today I believe that, 2 cows are going to come to my house and take me on a trip to the rainbow. That's what I believe. And then when they don't come, the 2 cows, to take me to the rainbow, I'm going to cry. And I'm going to get really upset and I'm going to blame you. And then you're going to be like, okay, but what? 2 cows are going to come and rescue you to the rainbow? What are you talking about? And you're like, what do you mean, what am I talking about? Don't you get my belief? Like, you don't believe in this? You don't believe that 2 cows are going to come and rescue us and take us to the rainbow? You don't live with this belief? And the other person goes, no, I've never believed that. And you're like, bad person. You know what? You're out of my life. I hate you. So I'm going to create a Facebook group of people against people who believe in cows, who come to rescue them, to take them to a rainbow. No. But all of us have belief systems. Yes, you listening to me have your own belief systems. Many of them. And I have my own lovely litany of belief systems. But at least I know now enough that my belief systems are all fabricated. Today is Sunday. I have Sunday belief systems. I have Monday belief systems. I have Tuesday. I have a whole litany, but I know it's all BS. The dangerous people are those who think their belief systems are the holy grail. They're the ones wreaking havoc in the world. But regardless, it all starts with us and understanding, at least in our little personal life, in your little insular, granular little corner, in your own little body, with your own little hair, can you goddamn be happy and joyful and liberated and laugh at the joke of life and have humor, and yes, cry, and yes, take it seriously, and yes, be profoundly affected by things, but understand at the end of the day, it's all an illusion. It's all impermanent. And at the end of the day, all we have is this moment, this moment, this moment. How am I living aligned in my life, to my voice, to my truth, to my honesty? That's it. His truth, her truth, their truth, your child, your dog, your husband. Let it go. You can't manage their truth. You can barely manage your truth. So recenter to you. Come back to you. Am I living my life fully? Am I living my life liberated? Am I actually not giving a damn about what anyone else thinks? Because it's my life. Are you living like that? Free of the shackles of other people's opinions. Free of the shackles of dumb belief systems. Free of the shackles of anyone on the outside coming to rescue you. You hold the golden key. Are you activating it? And yeah, some of you may go, but how? How do I activate? Well, you have to take some courses. You can take one of my courses, for example. Oh, time to plug the book. You can buy a book like this or my other books. You can go to 1,000 wisdom teachers online. Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, Oprah Winfrey, Tara Brach, Jack Cornfield. So many, okay? I'm forgetting. Pema Chodron. So many beautiful teachers. Byron Katie, Brene Brown, Eckhart Tolle. Did I say him? So many. There's no excuse. There's no dearth. You begin your liberation now. Don't wait for the elections, yes? Don't wait for the elections. Because it could be all ending by November 9th. Okay, I'm just kidding. We're in this moment. We are alive, fully aware that death is occurring right now. Not the final dissolution, maybe, but constant death. And then when the final dissolution hits us like a brick of cement, ire, with its ire, you're going to die. But you will also know that it was always happening. Death was happening all the time. Now it's just gone from the physical and it's gone into non-physical, constantly transforming. Everything is constantly moving. So you own your power, you own your life, you begin living with detachment, with lack of possession, with lack of craving, with lack of desire for what other people may think of you or other things can fill you up, lack of desire for anything on the outside, and begin connecting to who it is you are. No more excuses. There's no time, but there's eternal time as well. It's all timeless because you and I, as much as we will die to this body, we will never fully die because nothing fully ever completely dies. Everything is constantly transforming. You and I were not born out of the ether. We were born out of millennia of cause and effects. And when we die, we will transform into the next cause and effects. So there is no real dissolution, final death, but there's constant dying. There's constant dying and there's constant living. And until you are fully in touch with the constant dying of life, with the constant anicca, impermanence of life, you will actually stop living. Bye-bye. See you in the next moment when I see you. Bye-bye. Bye, Instagram. I delete this whole thing, by the way, and I post the Facebook one here. So all of you who don't see your comments, don't feel bad. Detach, let it go. And I will see you next Sunday. Get my book, Superpowered. Get it, get it, get it. Get it for your friends. Get it for Thanksgiving, Christmas, all those holidays that we believe in. Bye, guys.